All right, so a little bit of a hiccup. First time streaming my wheelie practice. I did not make it public. I made it a private one. It's all good. So I'm out here on the KLX 140RL and doing my wheelie practice. You guys know the deal. Empty parking lot, gear on, and have a camera to watch. So I know a lot of people tend to ask how long it took me to learn how to wheelie. I wheelie twice a week, 20-minute sessions. So tonight's gonna be a little bit longer since I did a mistake on my live stream, and we're seeing if that's gonna be a thing. If you guys digging these kind of things, let me know. I am going to how do you call it, do them more. So hit the thumbs up. Let's go. Backtrack and talk and give my thoughts and takes an opinion. I don't know how much GoPro battery I have left because I streamed for a little bit earlier, but it was private. So small bike is the ideal way. You don't want to focus on power. You want to focus on control, which is what I'm doing here. You will hear certain times where the bike rev out completely. Those are not good wheelies. They're just pretty much chasers, really. If you're on a S1000 RR, you did that, you'd be doing a wheelie at 80 miles an hour to 90 miles an hour straight down, and it looks cool. I'm looking for stuff where I'm like teetering and falling back. Control crash, that's what I'm looking for. And yeah, so tips, anybody has questions, you want to throw it up, definitely hit the thumbs up button. I'm also finding out that I like looking left better than looking right. There we go. That was a bad one. have enough batteries left. Not sure. I'm 8 minutes into the stream. I think I might have more batteries left, but if you guys enjoy these videos or these live streams, I'm thinking of doing more live stream style stuff moving forward with the channel, looking for my niche. And I kind of figured I'd share this passion that I have practicing wheelies. So yeah, so if you have questions, you want to throw your thoughts and opinion, this would be the time. The connection's pretty impressive. That's really good. Alright, let's try it. How's the wheelies looking, by the way? The name of the game is control, control, control. Get it under control. You're gonna see some wheelies go left and go right. Stay calm. Don't get out of character. Practicing kind of just bring it away or try to control it, or at least let the bike straighten itself. It's always center balancing kind of thing. I'm trying to think of some of the tips that I shared a little bit earlier. I did share different tips, but the live was private. Ideally, what I want to do is do some practice runs, and then review and talk it over with you guys, and then go to the next one. Just a second. There we go. All right, let's get to it, boys. Oh, bitch! It's something that you memorize, do it instinctively, not that you have to. things that I do. When you start seeing me doing wheelies and it's like going to the left, going to the right, stuff like that, it's pretty much a cue for me to know that to take a break, like to stop and reset and then go back. Because at some point when I'm clutching up, always remember, when you clutch up, you don't have to yank the bar, you don't have to pull, you don't have to bounce it up. It should do it everything pretty much on its own. All you're doing is really controlling balance a little bit in the rear brake and song and dance between the throttle and the rear brake, right? So once you start going left or right, or you start having these small little issues, you know it's time for you to stop and take a break, like reset. Usually I take a little bit. What I'm going to do moving forward, I'll probably reset with you guys just by like either chatting up or pretty much reply to comments or something like that. Because the thing is, I believe the videos I do with the KLX are really great videos, especially for other people that's been inspired to want into wheelie and usually see other people do it. I want to walk through what it takes in terms of dedication, the time, overall cost. If these are things that you guys want to see and you want me to explain of how I kind of got to where I am in a very short period of time, we can kind of start talking about those. For example, one of the biggest thing I advocate for, if you want to learn how to do wheelies or whatever, before you start doing anything at all, before anything, get gear, helmet, gloves, jacket, riding jeans, riding shoes or whatever. And then before that, I know most people are like, all right, I've done that, I'm ready to go. Just throttle it, dump the clutch. Nope, that is not what you want to do. You want to get the perfect bike, something that's ideal. Either I say KLX 140RL, I like this bike because it has disc rear brake, not a drum rear brake. It's gonna run you around $5,000 if you buy it brand new. If you buy it used, you can find it at $1,800 to $2,500, but that's another story. So right after that step of getting all gear and everything else, you want to spend a lot of time on the controls, basically tuning the rear brake to your liking, not where it's completely abrupt, where you could ride it or something like that. Then you want to work your controls, your clutch control, making sure it's actuating where you want it to be, or it takes off exactly where you want it to be. So, and then your sitting position, and then for the gearing as well. Then you start practicing. I know a lot of people don't talk about that at all. They usually say, oh, go out there and throttle it, dump the clutch. You want to do these steps first, because that leads to understanding the bike, getting comfortable with the bike sooner, and not having any like looping mistakes. All right, let's jump back. That was a good little few minutes of me talking, so I'm gonna go back. David M mentioned here he's been riding since 2006 and he still can't wheelie. Can you kind of pick direction while wheelie by leaning? So that's a little bit more advanced technique. When you are balanced, you could kind of shift your body to lean the bike back and forth. I would say ideally what you want to do for starters, you just want to start understanding the bike, getting comfortable, then getting to the point of clutching up where it's completely natural to you. Like I could clutch up at any point in the road, slowly and controlled. What you're talking about is something that's very advanced. It's almost like asking about going from first gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, and so forth and so on. You're gonna have to tackle things one thing at a time. I have an entire playlist of how I've done, the crashes I've had, worst case scenarios, best case, best practices. So that's a great way. So let's jump back on the bike and do a couple more clutch ups. Again, I'll show you, let me just show you, for example, a good way you could start is 1 foot down clutch ups, right? So I'll do that. By the way, I'm not a big fan of power wheelies. Power wheelies are 50-50 and you're not fully in control. So for me, I like clutch ups. They're scarier, they're more difficult to master, but once you've mastered them, you're like the master of your domain. So I'll show you 1 foot down. a standstill to a wheelie. It can be very scary at first, but what I mean by taking a break. Right after I took a break, there was a huge difference in me doing this wheelie. So you want to make sure you're active in terms of braking, taking time, resetting, and understanding. If you really want a wheelie, I have a ton of videos, man. By the way, if you guys are watching this, please hit the thumbs up. Doesn't cost anything. Drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts. If you like this whole live streaming thing while I'm on the go, I can do stuff like this through New York City. I can do this stuff anywhere, really. But I kind of figured it'd be a great time to share something fun, something unique that I'm learning with everybody. Was my main wheelie spot in the beginning, and I learned a lot here. It really forced me to put myself in a headspace that I don't need a big area to learn how to wheelie. It's really learning how to control. Again, the size of your bike does not matter. A lot of people tend to talk about that. Whatever you learn on a smaller bike translate to a bigger bike, except you have more control. So keep that in mind. Minimize your risk. So the reason why I'm on a smaller bike, I basically put all the risk on the table and minimize it in terms of getting a smaller bike, having gear, learning at a slower pace, and understanding what is it like to wheelie, why does the bike wheelie. All of these questions, when you start answering them, you'll be able to wheelie really easy, and you'll understand it. All of a sudden, to you, it's going to be like, oh man, I should have really understood this a long time ago. Understanding the why and how change the whole thing. It becomes less about the wheelies, it becomes less about the science of it. So let's keep going. a good buddy of mine, like we talk about doing wheelies and why don't I wheelie my hyper motard. It's for reasons like this. That wheelie that I just did, that was 12 o'clock, really high, but I almost looped. But I didn't have to think about it. I didn't have to do a abrupt reaction. I didn't have to close the throttle. By memory, I actuated the rear brake to bring it down. There's a risk you're not going to get hurt. A lot of people tend to be afraid of doing wheelies for two reasons. The first one, which is kind of stupid, you don't want to destroy your bike, and you don't. Technically, that should be the second thing. The second thing is not to get hurt. So, by you taking some of the best practices that I'm doing, you can negate a lot of those. Not getting hurt and not destroying your bike. However, it does take a little bit of money. You might have to buy a small bike or rent one or whatever it is. And these little bikes are super cheap. I am going to be dropping some KLX videos that talks about the pricing, repairs, a bunch of stuff like that. And it runs like a champ. This thing I've did 5 times really badly, and it always starts up no problem. So we're going to rock on for a little bit longer. I'm going to be calling it a night. Let me do a couple of more pulls, and then I'll go in the light, and then I'll take a look at the chat to see if anybody has any comments or ask me any questions. All right, now I'll be able to look at the chat, guys. I think the stream was about half an hour, which technically was a little bit longer because I did a one that's private. I don't know if I'll just release that one too separately, but yeah. Oh wow, more people showed up. Thank you guys for coming on the stream. Holy hell. By the way, I'm super thankful because what's crazy is that this was a test. I was in the office and I was like, yeah, my channel needs like a change or to do things a little different. I'm like, what could I do and stuff? And I thought about it. That's so funny. Which bike are you practicing on? I'm practicing on the Kawasaki KLX 140 RL. It's one of the best bikes to practice on, Jack Be Quick, because the bike is super cheap. I've dumped it 5 times, super cheap to replace parts, fairings. They're like between $10 to $40 for you to buy fairings. Very, very cheap. Handlebars, I've only really had to replace, the only major thing was the handlebar, and I did risers, and that was still under $100. So super cost effective, and also you minimize the risk. I know you're a professional, so you can't really afford to not go to work or at least be off your feet or whatever. With a bike like this size and wearing gear, the chances of you falling and hurting yourself really badly is so slim. You know, minimize the risk, and you could learn pretty much very quickly, and you could do it on all the bikes. I could wheelie my hyper motard. Neighbor so loud, you don't do anything. Got here, outwork. Yeah, I mean, that's the way, man, in life, in business, YouTube, you just got to be out working pretty much whoever, if you want it bad enough. Let me see what else I got here. Stephen Turner. No, I'm only messing just he was getting pretty close to the building. I am getting pretty close to the building. I do it on purpose. The reason I do that, I want to give myself boundaries to control. The reason why you don't see me doing wheelies in the street, in traffic, or stuff like that, again, minimizing the risk, guys. It's super important. I know wheelies are fun. It's a technical skill, and if you don't have the technical skill completely sharpened down, you really should be responsible and not do it elsewhere. So I have music playing, I'm doing the live stream, I'm recording myself. All of those things, those are like made up obstacles to see how well I keep my focus while I'm doing this. Do I still react by memory while I'm doing this? So these are all things. So I go close to the wall to see if I could stop it before hitting the wall. Again, these are all drills for me. So just a heads up. Let's see what else we got. Hopefully the stream is still playing, because it's kind of hard for me to see the stream. Let's see what else we got here. The cops are not as bad anymore. When I'm on the KLX, the cops are not really here giving me a hard time. The problem is when I'm on the Hyper. That bike is loud, man. It wakes up. It gives me a good a mile radius of sound almost. So you know, that's why people get scared and stuff like that. Let's see what I got here. That's also another reason why I never get to practice, the space to do it, and the worry about cops being called. So for me, like when I'm done practicing, I do not ride the bike back to my house. I mean, I'm like a mile radius from my home or whatever. I walk the bike, just out of respect. I've seen cops see me walking the bike. They never give me any hard time. So just be mindful, you know what I mean? If you're an adult and you're doing this, be mindful. I come late night where I have the whole parking lot to myself. The supermarket is closed. Try to be respectful. Also, I partnered with the manager, letting them know, I introduced myself, letting them know, hey, I'm gonna be practicing here if it's okay. They gave me the go ahead, and I've gotten cops calling on me a couple of times, to the point where when they show up, the manager's like, it's fine, you know, he's here, you know, without a problem. So you wanna stack the odds on your side so you don't have any issues. So these are some of the precautions that I took. And I haven't really had any issues yet so far. Let's see what else we got. And I'm gonna go home. It is Halloween month, and then I are doing a scary movie at night. So we're gonna do one tonight, so I'm probably gonna run home. Let me see what else we have here. Just kind of do a close. Often people said this is not powerful enough. This bike is only 10 horsepower. Hyper Motard is 110 or a little more, 110. You need a fraction of torque to bring this bike up. It's really about throttle control and being able to control what you're doing in a controlled manner. And not having a big space doesn't really mean anything. Once you have it fully under control, you could wheelie in a tight spot. I mean, if you've seen somebody like Jason Britton or Aaron Colton, they wheelie in a box, in a circle. That's like full control of what's going on. You know, I had some issues where it's like, oh, it's too small, I can't wheelie here. So I'll give you guys a short story before stopping the stream and going home. I wheelied this bike. I got really good. I was in that little smaller area, and then I was like, I'm gonna take my Hyper, I'm gonna practice. Granted, they did call the cops, and as soon as I got to this area, I started wheeling the Hyper, and I'm like, what the hell, man? It's not, the space is not big enough. I was completely wrong. So I went to a bigger parking lot and I practiced with the Hyper, perfectly fine, and there was no mishaps or anything like that. Again, I got everything committed to memory. When I do it, it's almost like a reaction now, and nothing happened, right? And I'm like, wait a minute, something's off. I shouldn't be able to do that. And I went back to the Kawasaki. I was like, let me go back. I gotta go back. I gotta understand what's happening. Why is it happening? And come to find out, I had as much control that I thought that I did. I understood the rear brake. I had it committed to memory. That was one thing. I needed to slow things down because you don't need a huge, you know, airplane runway to wheelie. You can have a small space, but if you can control it, as you can see some of the wheelies you saw on this bike tonight, I slowed the bike down almost to a crawl, or like maybe 2 to 3 miles an hour before bringing it all the way up to balance point. For me, that's really practical control. If I want a wheelie going at 30 to 60, that's a lot easier to do. Hence why you see people do wheelie chasers. Chasers are easy. You're already going fast. The moment, if you go up slightly and you add a momentum, the bike will continue to push you until you run out of RPM. So doing it, you know, slow and steady means you can do it any way you like, whether you're going fast or you're going slow. All right. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. Thank you to everybody that came and tuned in. If this is something you like, definitely hit the thumbs up. Leave a comment. I need to hit the algorithm. I'm trying to revamp the channel. I'm trying to create something special to bring the channel to where it needs to go. Also, I'm on the grind. I want to hit 30,000 subscribers before 2024. I'm down 1,200 subscribers. So share the channel. I'll catch you guys on the next one, all right?